Okay, so now we are gonna to study the finite group of O2. Okay, so this is the simple one. Should be very simple one, but we will see that why this group theoretical tool can benefit this discussion. So we study all the finite group of O2. Okay, so let's call finite group gamma. Okay. So now, right. So let's see. So maybe I can study. Let's say that we study the simplest. We study the finite group of SO2 because SO2 is abelian, right? So it's SO2 can be viewed as just a simple circle. So every element is basically the rotation matrices. Okay, so let's call this rho basically R theta, and it's easy to prove that it's basically abelian. So let's want to study the finite group of SO2. Okay, but by definition, right? So I know that every gamma is basically some R theta. So the set of gamma will just be R theta for some theta for a set of thetas. Okay, but gamma is finite. Okay, so I think everyone knows the trick. So my claim is the following. So there exists the smallest theta prime, such that all the rotations are multiply of theta prime. So it's basically theta prime, 2 theta prime, 3 theta prime, keep going. Okay, the reason is that if there's no such okay, so to prove this is very simple. So we just take theta prime to be minimum of theta. Where so we collect a lot of theta, right? We take the minimum, which is theta greater than 0. So let's make the condition that theta between 0 and 2 pi, and I collect the minimum of theta. Okay, so and I say that every rotation is a multiple of theta prime. If this is not the case, then I have theta prime to theta prime up to like some theta prime. And if there's some angle, if there are some other angle here, theta tilde, which is not the multiple of theta prime, so let's say b theta prime, b plus 1 theta prime, then theta tilde minus b theta prime will be greater than 0, but less than theta prime. But this guy is in the group gamma, and this guy is in the gamma. So this force theta prime is in the gamma. This force the least terms is inside gamma. But this guy is less than theta. Less than theta prime violates the theta prime is the smallest angle in this group. So which means that every element is a multiple of theta prime. Okay, but then gamma is finite. So there exists n, which is integer, positive integer, such that n theta must becomes identity, so must become 2 pi. So the smallest theta must be 2 pi divided by n. So now we have the complete description of this group. This group will just be a rotation of 2 pi divided by n times k, where k from 0, 1 to 2 up to n minus 1. Okay, which is just Cn. This is a cyclic group of order n. Or another way is isomorphic to mod nz. So this is the integer mod n times the integer. Okay, so it's very simple. Basically, all the finite group of SO2 will just be the cyclic group with rotation 2 pi divided by n. So this is a simple proof. Okay, so now we can study the gamma, which is a finite group. Let's say finite group of O2. Okay, so first I know that SO2 is a normal subgroup of O2, right? So now I want to apply the second isomorphism theorem. So second isomorphism theorem tell me that H quotient H intersection with K is isomorphic to HK quotient K. And this guy is a subgroup of G quotient K. Suppose K is normal. Okay, so I pick K to be SO2, which I know is normal because SO2 is the kernel. This is the kernel of O2 mapped to the determinant. So this guy is normal subgroup. Now I take H to be gamma. Okay, so let's say their intersection, gamma intersection with SO2, let's say it's gamma plus. Okay, so from here that I know that gamma quotient, gamma intersection SO2 is a subgroup of O2 quotient SO2. So it's O2 quotient SO2. But this is just Z2. So there are only two possibilities. So first one is that gamma quotient gamma intersection with SO2. This group is isomorphic to trivial group. Then, so in this case, meaning that gamma is basically a subset of SO2 because their sides are the same or their cardinality are the same. Then this gamma just be the cyclic group with order n. Okay. Otherwise, otherwise that this guy is isomorphic to Z mod 2Z. Right? This is the other possibilities. So which means that this gamma is index 2. So gamma plus is a subgroup of gamma. So I can write as a coset, right? So gamma can be written as gamma plus, disjoint union from S, gamma plus. Here S is any quantities, is any group elements which is outside SO2. So S is some elements in the O2 delete SO2. So this S will just be some reflection. Okay. So now in order to so this is Cn, right? Isomorphism is on Cn, and this is also isomorphism on Cn. So to decide the group, we just need to ask what's the relation between S and this R and this rotation of 2 pi divided by n. So my question is the following. So what's SR? Right. So S is some O2 out some reflections. Okay, but SR S inverse. Let's consider this term. So this is this is determinant minus 1, this is determinant 1, this is determinant minus 1. Right? So if you take determinant, this must be determinant 1. So this guy is a determinant 1, right? So it must by group action, by group closure. So this guy, SRS inverse, must be R to the K for some K. Okay, but it's hard to decide which K is. So now we need to use some geometric property. So notice that S is O2, delete SO2. But in particular, S is in O2, right? So S is diagonalizable. So there is this Q for 2 by 2 matrices, such that S is Q times 0, 1, 0, 0, minus 1 Q inverse. This is the eigenvalue plus 1 and minus 1. Right? Recall that we proved that any reflections has eigenvalue 1 and minus 1. So this is definitely exists. So it definitely exists a Q such that S looks like this. Okay, so if I consider Q as inverse for some theta Q, I do this kind of transformation. Now I can written as SQ as inverse Q R theta. Oh, sorry. I can write as Q S Q inverse R theta and Q S inverse Q inverse. Q here, Q here. Oh. this one. Okay, so this is just exactly the same. I just insert these two q's. Okay, so this term will make 0, 1, 0, 0, minus 1. And let's see this. Okay, so QR theta Q inverse is something in SO2. Because if you take determinants, these two determinants will cancel each other. So R theta is still some rotation, right? So it must be some rotation. Cosine prime, sine prime, minus sine prime, cosine prime. And then for these guys, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 inverse. So the computation shows that this is cosine minus theta prime. Actually, this is the computation that you should do by yourself. But it's very simple, you just do the minus. So in particular, this will be QR theta Q inverse. I write as theta prime, right? So it's some theta prime. This will be just theta prime minus, which is just theta prime inverse. Okay, so what this shows is that under this Q basis, this S acting on the R theta prime inverse, sorry, R theta prime S inverse will be R theta prime inverse. So S R theta prime S inverse will be R theta prime inverse. Okay. But okay, so under that basis change, this guy is still in the group, still in the gamma plus, right? So this guy is still satisfied n theta prime is be just 2 pi. So now the under this Q basis, the whole group G, or this gamma, is basically some Cn disjoint union about this S apply on Cn. But now this S satisfies the property S R theta prime S inverse will be just R inverse. So if you see carefully, this is exactly the dihedral group. So recall the dihedral group 2n is just R and S generated by R to the n S squared is 1, and SR is R inverse S. Okay, so notice that S inverse is S, because S is just, so notice that S is 1, 0, 0, minus 1, so it's S inverse is exactly S. So you can see that from here, this is basically Cn, this is this S, and A squared equals to 1, and they satisfy the same relation as this gamma. So gamma is just isomorphic to D2n. So it's isomorphic dihedral group. Okay, so conclusion. Very simple. All finite subgroup of O2 is either cyclic group or dihedral group. Okay, so this is the somehow like the D to N. This is somehow like simple classification of all this, all this finite subgroup. It's somehow in 2 dimensions simple to classify using this simple group theory. Okay, but now after that we want to move to some more difficult examples. So in next video we will try to add the translation. So you can see that translation also don't change the distance, right? So translation is also really interesting. So we want to study the larger group once we add a translation. And moreover, I want to study the 3-dimensional one, so-called O3, or basically SO3. I want to understand what's the general structure of finite group of SO3, which will lead to a so-called platonic solid, or the regular solid. And more generally, it will go to so-called point group and space group, which will be very interesting. Okay, so see you guys next videos.